Greetings, welcome to State of the State. My name is Gardner, and our guest today is Roberta Humble. Roberta has been with us several times, and we're so excited to welcome her back with us again. Welcome, Roberta.
Thank you, Ann. I think this is my 5th year and that we're celebrating.
Driving here, I was thinking, how many times has Roberta been on the show? And I don't remember, but you're an influential Rhode Islander, so here you are on our Influential Rhode Islander series. So, a little bit of background. Roberta has been a professor of English at the Community College of Rhode Island for 43 years, the first woman Rotarian on the East Coast. Roberta is also Vice Commander of the Military Order of Foreign Wars, a member of the Naval War College Foundation, the Reserve Officers Association, the Providence Marine Corps of Artillery, and a graduate of Leadership Rhode Island, an author of many, many works, some of which we'll talk about tonight.
Yes.
Most recently, you have a DVD out, and we're also going to talk about your upcoming tour. So, very exciting.
I'm excited about it. I so look forward to taking Rhode Island out to America.
We are so lucky to have you as an ambassador for our little state. We really are very fortunate.
Thank you, Ann.
You're just such a wonderful researcher of history and an archiver and talented author. So let's tell everybody a little bit about, as we do with every show, let's just do a little bit of background about your start and how you started to write and the reason for your writing, and we'll talk a little bit about the Westerly Armory and the connection there with your writing.
Okay. Well, my first Rhode Island book was, I've done textbooks before in oral communications and technical writing, but my first Rhode Island book was The Historic Armories of Rhode Island. And that was done to promote all of our 18 historic armories. The Westerly Armory is on the cover, so I think it looks very handsome there, I think.
Here we have. Okay,
and that was a sabbatical project for me from the college, and I got my good friend Colonel Howard Brown to co-author it with me.
So there we can see it a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, and now the Historic Armories of Rhode Island. Tell people again, what is the significance of armories and why is it so important that we need to have a publication like this, that we need to keep armories going, we need to make sure they're preserved, make sure we keep them up to date and utilize them and make sure that they stay with us? Why is that important?
Well, it's important because they represent, and they're really the largest monuments to veterans and to sacrifices made for our freedom that we have. They are the largest memorials. People drive by them all the time, whether it's the Great Providence Armory, the Pawtucket Armory, the Westerly Armory. It doesn't matter. Even the Warwick Museum of Art was an armory, and they never forget that either. It is so important to remember these because they represent the best of America, the strength of America, the pride of America, and the courage of America.
Right.
I think that in doing the Armory book, what I liked doing best about it was the fact that they had never been recognized before. Well, I didn't like that, but what I liked was that it brought recognition. You need to do that because everybody thinks they're going to stand forever, but unless you, it's like owning a house, unless you do the roof and so on, you need to do repairs and normal maintenance work to maintain them over the years. So after that book, there was a long lapse, and I was invited, because I was known for that, I was invited to give the presentation at the State House in 2005 for Rhode Island Independence Day, which is May 4th instead of July 4th. Yes. We're a little bit earlier, as you well know.
We like being first.
We always do, first or last, always, always, that's us. And Governor Carcieri liked the presentation so much, as did everyone, because I did first, best, and uniques of Rhode Island, and people were like bowled over by their own state.
Right.
So Governor Carcieri asked me, he said, would you do something with the book? With the speech, rather. And so I created the book, with The Right to Crow, and that was my first book.
Okay, that's this book.
That's that one. That's first, best, and unique.
Hold that up. I don't know if we can see it. There we go. All right.
And
there's that one.
then the year after that I did Rhode Island's Friendly Faces, which is the children's book.
Oh, this one is so much fun.
Yeah, the little windmill from
This is
Middletown.
the one with the little windmill.
Yes. He goes all around Rhode Island and he visits all the historic sites. It's a tribute to our historic sites, and it's a lot of fun. And the adults get a big kick out of it because it has Rhode Island idiosyncrasies and idioms in it, and the children love the pictures and the story.
So we kind of anthropomorphize the windmill, and the windmill travels around and has some great adventures.
Yes, he does. He even gets stopped by a state trooper on the Thurbers Avenue curve because he sees Nibbles Woodaway, the great big blue bug of Big Blue Bug Solutions, and he gets scared because remember, Nibbles is a termite and the windmill is wooden, so he gets a little scared. But then after that I came out with some games. I came out with Road Test, which sold out. We had 3,000 of those sold out. The year after that I came out with Roadside, and we talked about that 2 years ago.
Yes.
And then last year I came out with Road Scholar, which was the Mensa version of Road Test, and very difficult. Road Scholar is very scholarly. And then this year I came out with the Big Rhode Island Quiz, the DVD, which is interactive. It's no 38 Studios production, but it is kind of fun because you can click
Which I found was a little difficult too.
Well, that's what I bet you knew about. I tried to play it so that most Rhode Islanders would probably know at least 50%, and then you can learn 50%.
Right, right.
It's fun to do.
Okay, so the DVD also has, okay, so let's describe a little bit. The DVD has categories of questions.
Yes.
Okay, so some of the categories are history, foods, language, colleges, entertainment, businesses, villages, people, geography, first, best, and oldest, cities and towns, favorites from the past, National Register sites, early sports, and state symbols.
Yes.
That is incredible, an incredible wealth of information.
There's about 127 questions, and the little book, it has the same questions in it, but it doesn't have the pictures. The DVD has the pictures.
Okay.
On the DVD, you can use your TV remote to click on the multiple choice answer that you believe is correct, and it will tell you whether you're right or wrong. So, would you like to see a couple of these?
Okay, so let's go through maybe a few questions.
All right.
So, now how did you come up with all the different categories in the questions? How did you
I guess I'm a technical writer. I divide everything. Everything is divided and organized and into its little category. And it makes it easier, actually, for people because they kind of get on a trail of, okay, we're looking for people, we're looking for cities and towns.
Right.
So it's a lot easier for them. I enjoyed creating the categories because they, to think of which categories would be best. I haven't done a lot with people in most of the books or games. There's very few people in it because actually we have so much else, and it's hard. I don't really want to leave out people that should be recognized. But
your other works really do have a lot about architecture and history.
Yes, and things around the state that would be important first or best or oldest and so on. It's hard because once you get into people, actually we have a lot of very fine Rhode Island people who have done amazing things.
Yes, absolutely. So what do you think? Should we give a few examples? Do you want to start going?
Well, we'll start with, it starts with sort of the easier ones. This is sort of basic history.
Okay.
And let's take a look. Like the first question is, who founded Rhode Island? Okay. Now most people in Rhode Island will probably get this one. What do you figure?
I would think so.
Okay, so then we see it's Roger Williams. Okay.
But we don't necessarily know what he looks like, so you have a picture of him, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a sketch of what he may have looked like.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting to see what he looks like.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see him with a hat, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice collar, the typical Puritan collar. Remember, he was outcast from Massachusetts.
Yes.
So they lost someone good, didn't they?
They really did. I bet they were sorry.
I bet they were too. All right. The second question, these are basic. I will just do a couple of these. In what year was Rhode Island founded? And so I don't know whether people will get this or not, but it was 1636.
1636.
Now, in Massachusetts, 1636, Harvard was founded in 1636, the first college in America. Okay. So let's skip through to a couple. Let's go to some general geography questions here. Let's try one of these.
This one was interesting. Approximately how many miles of coastline does Rhode Island have?
All right.
This was, I took a guess.
All right, but this one I'm showing you, remember, this is not the DVD, this is the PowerPoint presentation. So the DVD has multiple choice answers, which will make it a little easier.
Yes.
It's like the difference between watching Jeopardy and watching I Want to Be a Millionaire, the Millionaire Show. Millionaire gives you multiple choice answers.
Right,
Jeopardy, you have to know the answer. But I take, this is the one I take out for presentations. So we have over 400 miles of coastline, which is amazing for such a little state.
It really is.
Because we're only about 48 miles high and about 37 wide.
Right.
Okay, now let's go to, here's one for you. This is a hard one. You want to read the question?
Okay, so this is another geography question.
Yes.
Which one is not one of the 7 hills of Providence? The choices are Christian Hill, Smith Hill, Weybosset Hill, Tockwatton Hill, Constitution Hill, Catholic Hill, Federal Hill, and Prospect or College Hill.
All right.
So which one is not one of the 7 hills of Providence?
Well, let's see what people think. You want to see what it is? Okay. Here we go. Catholic Hill. Okay, that was just sort of made up. The others are, we have 7 hills of Providence as there are 7 hills of Rome. And
no, some of those hills I hadn't heard of before.
Yes, and they are called different names, like College Hill is Prospect Hill, but we call it College Hill.
Where is Tockwatton Hill?
It's over more towards the Fox Point area.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, I want to try one more geography.
Okay, so which is Rhode Island's largest island? Connecticut Island, Dutch Island, Block Island, or Aquidneck Island?
All right, want to guess?
I don't know, I would say...
Let's go.
Aquidneck.
It's Aquidneck,
okay,
yeah. There it is, and I have a star on it so everybody notices. So
right.
We have 35 islands in Rhode Island, which is amazing in itself. Okay, let's go to, let's try this one. I've already given you kind of the answer quickly, but name the Rhode Island town that was birthplace of the Quonset hut.
So would that be Quonset?
It's Quonset. That's the sort of the village.
Right.
But what town is it in?
Oh, it's not in North Kingstown?
Exactly.
Yeah.
North Kingstown. Yes. There it is with the picture of the windmill visiting the Quonset hut family.
Is this actually from the book?
Well, yeah, I took a few pictures here from My Friendly Faces book because it's so cute to see the windmill drinking Dell's lemonade.
And there he is with the Dell's lemonade.
With the Quonset hut family as he comes over. Interestingly, the Quonset hut, they built 150,000 of those during World War II, and they were sent all over the world because they were easy to construct. Now, look at the shape of them, how they're rounded.
Right.
Oh, well, that was interesting because not only did they protect people from weather and the elements, they saved many lives because they were also radar resistant.
Is that a fact,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Now, I can also tell you that I do animal rescue as well, and I can tell you that those are used around the country to house animals.
Really?
Yes, because they're very portable, which is extremely helpful, and you can move them from pasture to pasture.
Yes. At the University of Rhode Island, they had a number of them, even when I was there, and that was long enough ago. But they used them for quite a while. You want to try, oh, here's one. This is a good one. This bowls people over. Which town was on the short list of possible sites for UN headquarters in 1945?
This was, I remember this question, the answer was very unlikely.
Yes.
Was not the one that you would expect.
And it turned out to be Scituate.
Scituate, yes.
And the reason for it is they had a rhombic antenna there, and they could detect or intercept German high-frequency communications. So there were very few places that had a rhombic antenna, so they were on the short list for sure. So imagine what Rhode Island would be like if we had UN headquarters here.
Wow.
It's a thought, isn't it?
So that was over in Chopmist Hill where that antenna is.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, the antenna is still there.
Is it still there?
It is still there. Okay. Let's try another category here. Let's move on to state symbols, a couple of those. Let's try that. Do you know the state flower?
The Rhode Island state flower, yes. Okay.
And that is?
The violet.
The violet, okay.
One of my favorites, and very prolific.
Yes. Let's try this is a hard one. Most people do not know this one.
The state fish.
The state fish. And it's actually a fish with fins and gills. Okay, here it comes. striped bass. And interesting, in Oklahoma they knew that. When I was out in Oklahoma, they said, oh, you're from Rhode Island, you have those striped bass.
I'm not sure I knew we had a state fish to begin with.
Well, we have more. We even have a state tartan. You know, the plaid. We have a plaid that's registered in Scotland for Rhode Island. Yes, we do.
Do you have the state rock in here? I know the state rock.
Okay, wait a minute. Here, wait a minute. Here we come. There we are.
Okay, the Rhode Island state rock. I know what that is.
Okay, what is it?
Cumberlandite.
Very good.
Yes.
It's supposedly found only in Cumberland and parts of Portsmouth. I've heard other reports on that, but that's pretty much where you find it. It's very hard. It's very hard to mine.
I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I have a piece. I should have brought it today. I have a small piece. It has titanium in it too, which is interesting. It's a very hard rock. Very interesting.
It looks fascinating.
How about the state fruit?
Would that be an apple?
Yes, it's the Rhode Island greening apple.
I live in apple country. So.
That's right. Well, do you know Rhode Island was the first place, first place in the nation where an apple orchard was planted, and it was planted by William Blackstone.
Oh, well, there you go. Wow.
All right, I want to try some first oldest here. Firsts and oldest.
Okay. The very first Baptist church in America was the first Baptist church in Providence.
Okay, it was founded in Providence, exactly. That's actually the third Baptist church. The first one was built in 1638, and then there was another one, and this was 1775, I believe.
That's a beautiful building.
It is.
It really is.
How about this one?
Name the oldest music festival of its kind in the nation, founded in 1954 in Newport. So that must be the Jazz Festival. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. There it is. Okay, this one's fun. The first toy ever advertised on television and the company that made it.
Well, it would have to be Hasbro.
Yes.
Mr. Potato Head?
Yes, very good.
And there we go.
Yeah. They make Mr. Potato Head today with a body, a plastic body, but I'm old enough to remember when they made Mr. Potato Head with just the parts, and you got your own potato, and then you were much more creative with putting the eyes in and the ears. You could put them all over the potato.
I don't know that I like it with a body.
Well, that's a real potato. That's an original one.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that was a potato. Okay, how about this one? This one, name the first action figure in the world.
Would that be G.I. Joe?
Exactly, and Hasbro made that too. Yeah. Let's go to.
Okay, now go back a little bit.
Okay.
You had the oldest operating general store. Now, when I saw this question, I thought this was the one in Chepachet.
Brown and Hopkins.
Brown and Hopkins.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's Gray's. Gray's won out, and there's long stories about this, but let's put it this way. I think we have the three oldest operating general stores in the nation. We have Gray's, we have Brown and Hopkins. Gray's is in Little Compton.
Right.
Brown and Hopkins is in Chepachet, and then we have the Summit General Store over in Greene in Coventry.
Ah, yes.
So we have some of the oldest general stores in the nation. All right, let's kind of flip through a couple of these here. How about this one?
Oh, name the oldest continuously operating merry-go-round in the nation.
And we have to put a little sidebar on that one. The oldest merry-go-round in the nation, still in its original position. And that is the Watch Hill Flying Horse Carousel.
Okay.
Now, there's one made by the same person, Mr. Dare, and he made one for Martha's Vineyard. Well, it wasn't made for Martha's Vineyard. It was transported later to Martha's Vineyard. And so it's about 6 years older than this one, but it was built somewhere else and made for somewhere else and then transported to Martha's Vineyard. So Westerly, the Watch Hill Flying Carousel in Westerly. People don't realize these horses have real manes, real tails, real saddles, leather, real reins.
Oh my goodness.
It's very nice, yeah. Well, here's one.
Name the oldest synagogue in the nation.
And that is the Touro Synagogue in Newport. They have the oldest Torah in America too. The oldest Torah is over 500 years old, and actually it's the oldest Torah in all of North America. So very impressive. All right, this always makes people laugh.
Okay. Name the town in which the first and only monument to a chicken breed is located. The town in which the first and only monument to a chicken breed.
All right.
Little Compton, and the Rhode Island Red.
Yes, they developed the Rhode Island Red over there, and interestingly, people from all over the world know the Rhode Island Red, Ann. They know it for two reasons. It's a very good laying chicken, and it's a very good eating chicken, and it's very rare to get a chicken that's both.
They're just delightful little creatures. They
really are. Yes, they are, and they're very gentle. Yes.
They really are lovely.
I had some as a kid. We had them when I lived in Westerly. We had them out in the country with us, yeah. So they're beautiful.
Okay.
All right, you want to try some people?
Okay, so we'll go through a few more, and then you can tell us about your tour.
Okay, that sounds fun. Do you want to try this one, the people?
Name the Rhode Island School of Design graduate who created The Family Guy and American Dad.
Well, that's Seth MacFarlane. He's going to host, what is it, the Emmys come January, I think it is? He? Yeah, he's done very well. That's been extremely successful.
Yes.
Okay, let's skip over to, how about, okay, let's try an historical one. Who was Ambrose Burnside? Was he a barber who developed sideburns? Was he a novelist, or was he a Civil War general?
Oh, maybe a Civil War general?
Yes, there he is. Very famous, yes. I think at the Bristol Train of Artillery, they have one of his uniforms, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
And he was very famous, yes. Here's a more current one. Name the first Asian American mayor in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay, that must be Mayor Fung.
Yes, it is, Alan Fung. He was in Leadership Rhode Island with me, so kind of nice. A wonderful young man. Okay, let's try, how about the former host of Today?
Oh, Meredith Vieira.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how about the first winner of Survivor?
Oh, Richard Hatch, of course.
Yes, very good. And I think this is important, the woman from Central Falls, a Tony Award winner and nominated for major national acting awards.
Absolutely, Viola Davis.
Viola Davis, yeah, she's done wonderfully.
Yes.
She's out of Rhode Island College, too.
And she is a very ardent Rhode Island promoter of all things Rhode Island.
Yes, and she's been trying to help Central Falls, too, which I think is very nice.
Right. Oh, and our Olympic medalist, female swimmer from North Kingstown, of course.
Yes, young Elizabeth Beisel.
Yes.
We're very proud of her also, as you can imagine. So we've got all sorts of nice people. We had the first Italian-American United States Senator and the first Italian-American Rhode Island Governor, and that was John O. Pastore.
Right.
Yeah. Fascinating. Let's go through. These are a little bit trickier for us, but let's try Rhode Island foods.
Oh, name of the deep-fried bread-like food sprinkled with sugar. Of course.
It's
the doughboy.
And how about this one, and more deep-fried things?
Okay, name of the deep-fried batter-made food with quahogs.
Or clams.
Or clams, with stuffies.
These are clam cakes. Yes.
Oh, right,
but stuffies are too when you think about it. But actually, they're not always deep fried.
They're not deep fried, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. We got our Johnny cakes.
Yeah.
The official state drink.
Yeah. Coffee milk, of course.
And all right, now we go to Rhode Island language. What's a Rhode Island milkshake called?
The cabinet.
Okay, we have a cabinet. Do you know where the best cabinets are made in the state? The Delecta Pharmacy in Warren, on the main street in Warren. It's a very old pharmacy. I have it pictured there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a tiny little pharmacy, and almost everybody who walks in there wants a coffee cabinet.
Imagine that.
Yeah, they're famous for it. What's a water fountain called?
A bubbler.
There we go.
And so we can't say the R.
No, you have to do that. Let's. How about what Rhode Islanders mean when they say the tent?
Oh, okay. The musical theater.
Yes, the Warwick Musical Theater. When it was a tent, it became a building later on, but it was originally a tent, and it was a tent for many years.
Okay, so why don't we talk about your tour?
That sounds fun.
Okay, so you're going to go on the road, and you're going to bring Rhode Island to the rest of the country. So tell us about that.
Yes, I'm taking Rhode Island out beginning in January and through my sabbatical in the spring semester and probably some in the summer. I actually started a little bit of it to test it out this past summer. I did Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, and I'll also be doing some more Massachusetts.
And I'm sure that was well
later.
Received.
It was. Actually, I've got some invitations to go back to, because when somebody's in one organization, they're sometimes in another, and they liked it. So I have some invitations, but it's kind of just hard to pop up when you have to drive, 5 and 6 hours. We Rhode Islanders aren't quite used to that, so it takes us a while. But I'm starting in the South with my big tour in January, and I'm starting in Little Rock, Arkansas. I do 4 presentations in Arkansas, and I'm going to be doing 6 in Louisiana, and 3 in Mississippi, and 2 in Alabama. Then I'm coming back for a short period, and then I'm heading out to Montana and the Dakotas. So I think that should be, and then I will do other states as I can fit them in.
So you're going to basically, you're going to speak to different groups?
Yes, they'll all be groups like, I'm a Rotarian, so I'll be speaking to Rotary clubs and Lions clubs and other organizations, and some of the secretaries of state have invited me to.
Oh, how exciting is that?
It is, it's wonderful.
Wow.
Because I originally gave the presentation for the National Conference of Secretaries of State in 2010 when they came to Rhode Island.
Okay.
So it was nice of them to invite me. I got a lot of nice invitations from them. In Louisiana, for instance, Secretary of State Shedler has invited me to speak at the the State Archives in Baton Rouge. So I'll be there February 7th at 6 o'clock speaking. Wow. And that's a day I'll be speaking that morning at 7:30 at one Rotary Club, at noon at another, and then 6 o'clock at the State Archives. So
now, when you're traveling around, do you find that you find other Rhode Islanders? Do you make connections with people that know Rhode Island a little bit, or that have a connection here?
All the time. And in doing all these books and games, we've had orders, because you can go to westerlyarmory.org and order all these things. And when people do that, of course, you see their address and you have to mail it out.
Right.
California, tons from Florida, obviously.
Sure.
Loads from California, but also from Texas, from Arkansas.
It's mandatory that you have to move to Florida after you get over a certain age.
Well, they have Rhode Island nights down there where they play these Rhode Island games.
Oh my goodness, how exciting.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of them down there. So, yeah, it'll be fun to kind of meet, because in Louisiana, for instance, Governor Jindal, Bobby Jindal, is a graduate of Brown University. So I'm hoping that he'll come over to the State Archives when I speak, and it'd be fun to meet him. I'd be thrilled to meet him. So.
Yes. So what do you hope to do after your tour? What is your next, do you have a next project in mind?
Well, not quite yet. I'm just trying to gear up for this.
Right.
This takes a long time to plan, because it's not like you can just drive anywhere you want. You have certain dates and certain times you have to be in places. So, and I wanted to kind of carve a path so I wasn't running back the other way.
Right.
My biggest drive is from Shreveport down to New Orleans, which for us is nothing, but in Rhode Island it would be nothing to go from one end of the state to the other, but in this one it is.
Right.
So much larger.
Now you're not driving this whole tour, are you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That'll be fun, won't it?
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, thank goodness for things like, GPSs and so on. I have OnStar in my car, which means I can actually talk to a person too if I have to, which is very nice. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Roberta, I must say, this is so impressive, and we thank you for making the time to come and be with us again and tell us about your new work and give us a review of all your old works. And we just have a couple of seconds left. What would you like to leave the audience with? Do you want to tell them where they can buy your works?
Well, they can. They're in many stores in Rhode Island. Everybody from Books on the Square in Providence, Barrington Books, The Other Tiger in Westerly, Island Books in Middletown. You can get them online at westerlyarmory.com. Benny's statewide carries them. Benny's is a big supporter at one of our fine Rhode Island stores. We'd love to have people get them. The reason I'd like people to get them is that they can learn more about Rhode Island and be a little bit proud of their state.
Right, absolutely. And so these make a great Christmas gift.
They're fun.
If this show is going to air before Christmas, we want to tell people that please go out, and this is a great Christmas gift. And thank you again for coming. This has been another edition of State of the State. Thank you, and tune in again.